Good evening. Welcome to TV47 Sports Extravaganza. My name is Danco Askofu. Today I'm sitting in for Tony Kwalanda. We have seen a lot happening across the world. More so, the Football Kenya Federation decides by the end of the day we will be having a new president, a new football president who will lead Kenya for the next 4 years. Apart from that, we have seen Chepsaita Marathon, or rather Chepsaita Cross Country happening. We'll be updating you on what is happening on the ground. But on here in the studio, we're going to discuss matters Football Kenya Federation. Remember, the Football Kenya Federation Premier League is currently going on. I understand tallying also for the presidential election is also going on. I'm joined by Joseph Kuria, football analyst and former Harambee Stars footballer, that is Innocent Mutiso. These ones are the experts in the game, and they will be telling us what they think about what is happening to our game or what is happening to the Football Kenya Federation. But first, as I stated, tuliona Chepsaita cross country kiapen, and Tony Kwalanda is still on the ground. If we can link up with Tony Kwalanda to give us a brief of what happened the whole day, who won, and also any special thing that happened at the Chepsaita cross country. Tony Kwalanda, tuambie ni kipi kimefanyika?
Of course, in Nairobi, I am here at Chepsaita Secondary School in Tarbo constituency, Uasin Gishu County, where, as you can see, right behind me, organizers, sponsors, those who, of course, who are part and parcel of the Great Chepsaita Cross Country Run 2024 are setting down. That is, of course, they're getting down the equipment, of course, just to tell us now, indeed, for sure, the 2024 edition has come to an end. Let me tell you, it was full of pomp and color. The who is who in Kenya, in Africa, and in the world were here at this event when it comes to matters to do with athletics. Definitely, of course, the bottom line of this event, the highlight of the event, was that the Deputy President, His Excellency Professor Kithure Kindiki, was the guest of honor at this event. Remember, the patron of this particular competition, Farouk Kibet, definitely this particular evening has awarded thousands and millions of shillings to athletes and students who participated in this particular event. Just to be specific, 16 million Kenya shillings has been won by athletes and students. 10 million Kenya shillings has gone to over 10 secondary schools in different parts of this region. And this region forms about 4 counties: Nandi County, Kakamega County, Bungoma County, and Uasin Gishu County. 10 schools from those regions have been awarded scholarships worth 10 million Kenya shillings. You can imagine over 100 students in each of those schools will be being financed or will get scholarships worth 10,000 Kenya shillings. Now, just to break that down, 10,000 Kenya shillings is enough to put a girl or a boy in secondary school for a whole year, and then he's able, of course, to have change, to remain with change after that 10,000 shillings has been paid for 1 year. So definitely this event is very impactful to several students, boys and girls, who now will have a chance to stay in school for 365 days. Now, the other 6 million Kenya shillings has gone into pockets of athletes, both those in Kenya and from outside the country. Remember, this gold level event attracted 15 countries, notably from Uganda, Ethiopia, Tanzania, and of course, on. And remember, also some European countries sent athletes to this particular competition. So 6 million is in the pockets of athletes in Chepsaita, athletes who came from Nandi, athletes who came from Iten, athletes who came from Nakuru, Mombasa, you name it. 6 million is in the economy thanks to the Great Chepsaita Cross Country Run. Now, besides that, just to give you more information about what's happened, athletes were using this event. Some of them, the elite athletes, were using this event to prepare for the national cross-country championship. Remember, we are having a series of the cross-country championship happening, and the next one, next weekend, will be held in Olkalua. Now, some athletes took advantage of this particular competition to train for that competition. Others used this competition to prepare for next season. The upcoming athletes, remember this event had categories for 5-year-olds, had categories for 46-year-olds, had categories for over 70-year-olds, both men and women. Now, this event was the best platform, a launch pad for them to venture into other particular competitions. Remember, most top athletes, the likes of Beatrice Chebet, the likes of Faith Kipyegon, the likes of Amos Kipruto, have participated in, once in their lifetime in their competition, have taken part in a cross-country event. So most athletes use it as a launch pad into 1,500 meters, into 800 meters, into 5,000 meters. And remember, this event today was attended by the world record marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge. We also had the 3-time Olympic champion Faith Kipyegon. We also had our javelin star, my good friend Julius Yego. We also had David Rudisha, our 800-meter sensation. All of them. The reason for here, definitely we just point the picture to a situation whereby to tell you that cross-country is very important in any athlete's life. Any athlete who's never gone through a cross-country is missing something. This is, of course, that breeding ground for athletes who actually use it to venture into different other athletes. So definitely we've seen that, and they have won themselves a lot of, 200,000 Kenya shillings, 300,000 Kenya shillings, 15,000 Kenya shillings, 10, 7, depending on the categories. Remember, there were over 10 categories in this event. Just to name some of the few, and just to name some of the winners that we know of in the senior women's race, 10 kilometers, Lois Chekwemoi from Uganda took gold. And then in the men's 10 kilometers, that's the elite race, Samuel Masai Chebolei of Kenya took that gold. In the under 20 6-kilometer race in the women's category, Cynthia Chepkurui took gold. And in the men's 8-kilometer race, under 20 event, Kevin Kiprop Biwot walked away with gold and also with some cash money to go and enjoy Christmas. So this event, of course, also had a race category for 14 to 15-year-olds, 5 years to 7-year-olds, and also 70-plus-year-olds. Now, history has been made in this event where a 90-year-old athlete took part. This has never been seen anywhere. Only here at the Great Chepsaita cross-country run in this beautiful 2,100 feet above main sea level point where we are standing right here. And of course, the event was attended by the Sports Cabinet Secretary, Kipchumba Murkomen. There was also the PS, the Principal Secretary of Sports, Engineer Peter Tum. We also had a host of other top government officials from PSS to the diplomatic corps, and also high-level government officials who are this event, just to show the seriousness of this event. So every year, this event has a specific theme to it, Duncan. And so therefore, next year, we've been told that now the organizers are now getting back to the drawing board after the Christmas festivities to start coining and incubating the idea to now, by the time they're doing it in December 2025, then it will be much bigger and better. Of course, we had MPs who came to support this event. The Malava constituency MP, it's very close. This particular Chepsaita village is actually close to Malava constituency. In fact, they border one another. Now, to be very specific, Manda Shivanga ward is close to Chepsaita, and that's why we had the Malava constituency member of parliament, Moses Malulu Injendi, here, amongst other top-level members of parliament, who you know clearly right now, most of the members of parliament are in Mombasa for the East African Community Interparliamentary Games. So this particular competition is very beneficial both to those who run and those who don't run. of course, businesses. As you can see, those who are doing businesses of, catering, hospitality, are now setting down. I saw more than like 17 tents of those who are offering this particular service. Now they are going home with something in their pocket, having done business and exchanged contacts, and of course moved themselves to a level that they would not have been if there was not this particular competition. Students are having scholarships. This Chepsaita Secondary School, over 70 million has been pumped into its facelift. Of course, you already know what's happening there. A brand new administration block, a 100-bed seat, 100-bed capacity dormitory, laboratories, amongst other upgrades at Chepsaita Secondary School. That's just one of the many things that are being planned by the organizers. So we are definitely, we've camped here this entire week, and definitely we have witnessed history in the making. So Duncan, I am already working on a story, a Kiswahili story at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. with in-depth details about who exactly won what and where, and who won gold, which country, so at least our viewer can understand, of course, the seriousness of this particular competition. So definitely the more details up will be coming up later in our bulletins. But from us over here, of course, I'll give a lot of huge shout out to our entire team. It's always a must. I don't work alone. I stand in front here, but there's a huge number of people who work behind the camera. Of course, our camera crew here, led by Shadrack Kiplang at Rotich. We also have Jonte mwenyewe kabisa nganga hapo hivyo akitulia. We also have our marketing and public relations team led by Felix Oweti. We also had our digital team led by Ben Majale. We also had our transport team with my good friend Dennis Murimi, and a host of others who we cannot actually finish naming, who actually made possible that we did our live presentation of the Chepsaita Cross Country Run 2024. From me, back to you, Duncan.
Now, Shukran, Tony Kolanda, they are giving us a brief summary of what happened at the Chepsaita cross country that happened earlier today. Remember, the cross country took place at Chepkemel Secondary School in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu there. Now, from here, from Chepsaita, we are going to cross to the Football Kenya Federation, where elections are being held at Kasarani Stadium. But first, remember, this is TV47 Sports Extravaganza, and we have the question of the day. We are asking you, who is the best to lead Kenya football? Who is the best to lead Kenya? Who is the best suited to be the next Football Kenya Federation president, and why? Who is the best suited to be the next Football Kenya Federation president, and why? Remember, 8 candidates were eyeing to become the next boss, but at the end of the day, only one can lead Kenyan football. Who will be? Will it be Hussein Mohamed, or will it be Doris Petra? The only 2 candidates who are wenye ni wazito sana wenye wanaangalia sana ama wenye ni wazito sana kwenye in that race. Remember also, we are going to give you live pictures, live updates from Kasarani Indoor Arena, where I understand our reporter Alan Zuki is also there, keeping an eye on what is happening on what is happening at the Kasarani Indoor. Alan, if you can get me, give us a brief of what is happening, and currently ni kipi kimefanyika huko, ni kipi kinaendelea kule Kasarani? Alan, if you can get me, give us a brief, give us a picture of what is happening at Kasarani Indoor Arena. Tumefikia wapi, Alan?
Yes, Danco Mutua, I am getting you live and direct here from the Moi International Stadium, and in specific, the Kasarani Indoor Gymnasium. Remember, this is where the Football Kenya Federation elections are taking place. They were scheduled to start today at 9 a.m. However, due to some delays, we had to start at 12 p.m. However, apart from that, the process has really gone well, despite a few ups and downs. But right now, what is happening, if you might look behind me, you'll see keenly that the tallying process is happening. happening, and I'm just quickly going to take you through some of the results that have happened in different regions, and I'm going to start with the Eastern region, where Charles Njoka, who is the 3KFC chairman, was elected the Eastern Region National Executive Member, and also Team Blues Gabriel Mugendi has retained his position as the Coast Region National Executive Committee representative. So these are some of the results, and also adding on to the results, Robert Masharia, who is the Muranga Sales chairman, has been elected as the Central Region National Executive Committee member. Also, Peter Kaskas Kamau has won the National Executive Committee member seat for the Lower Eastern Region, and in the Northeastern, Ahmedgar Mohammed Dabar has retained his Northeastern seat. And just to quickly give you how the day has gone, remember I told you the election was scheduled to start at 9 a.m. However, we started at 12 p.m. due to some delays, because at 12 p.m. it's when the delegates and the presidential aspirants made their way into the indoor gymnasium. We had been waiting for them for almost 3 hours, and during that time, just less than 30 minutes after the election started, there was a bit of commotion that was caused by the delegates, and not only the delegates but also some of the observers. For petty reasons we didn't know. However, I was able to talk to one of the presidential aspirants, and they told me that the main reason for that commotion was because one of the presidential aspirants was trying to lure delegates into giving him votes. And as you know, the campaign should have ended. Today is voting, no campaign. So that was part of the reason for the commotion among the delegates. However, the board that is in charge of the election today, they were able to deal with it very, very, very well. Of course, led by Esbon Wheeler, who, by the help of the security guards, they were able to calm down the delegates and made sure the elections went on smoothly, very smoothly. Now, remember, this is a very, very important election for the Football Kenya Federation, just because of what football in Kenya is happening. Remember, next year, Kenya, alongside Uganda and Tanzania, will be hosting the Chan Championships. Remember, all the stadiums are undergoing renovation. Nyayo Stadium, Kasarani. So it's a very important step towards football in Kenya. These elections are very, very, very important. Remember, after that, in 2027, we have the African Cup of Nations, and we are also coming out of a very good year after the junior starlets made it to the World Cup. So whoever takes over from now has a lot of responsibility to ensure that football in Kenya not only continues growing but goes to a larger level. So those were some of the things today, and if you look right now, you will see that tallying is still going on, and the agents from various regions are there, and the process is still going on. The votes are being counted. We are 3 regions away from getting to the presidential ballot tallying, and remember, we have 8 candidates and a total of 90 delegates voting for the 8 candidates. So it's going to be a very, very tight race. We don't know who is the favorite now. However, the question remains, will it be Doris Petra and Nick Mwendo once again, or will it be a new era in the world of football for Kenya? However, apart from a few commotion here and there, it is also important to note that just outside the Kasarani Stadium, earlier today, we were able to see the police have been forced to use tear gas in order to disperse away some of the crowds that were building up outside there. Remember, some of these aspirants have their own football fans who came up in large numbers here today. However, they were restricted entry by some of the security staff. However, the police were forced to engage in cat and mouse games with them, because they had to fire tear gas to them in order to disperse them. And if you might look behind me, I think a winner has just been announced for a certain region, and we'll give you more updates as the show goes on. I'm showing in the capable hands of Duncan Mutua. For now, allow me to return you to Duncan Mutua, and I promise you before the show ends, I'll give you more and more updates through also our social media platforms at TV47. But for now, Duncan Mutua, back to you. Take over, sir.
Good job, Alan Hanzuki. They are giving us an update of what is happening at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. Remember, that's where the voting process has taken place now. The counting process is taking place. The question is, who will lead Kenya football for the next 4 years? Who will be the next FKF boss? Will it be Hussein Mohamed? Will it be Doris Petra? Those are the 2 candidates who are wanamenyana moja kwa moja. And at the end of the day, remember, at the end of the day, we will have a new president who will lead the Kenya Football Federation for the next 4 years. In the studio, as I stated, I'm joined by former Harambee Stars player, that is Innocent Mutiso, and a football pundit, Joseph Kuria. Innocent, for the first time, welcome to TV47 Sports Extravaganza. Shughuli nzima, and you've been following on what is happening from Kasarani. Sijui leo wewe, you as a former footballer, this day, what does it mean to you?
Well, it's a huge day, and the delegates who are there to decide the fate of Kenyan football for the next 4 to 8 years have a huge responsibility. And today, two things can happen. Either they become heroes for Kenyan football, or they will be on the wrong side of history when they are told to stand up and count and be counted. So today is a huge day, and we really hope that it goes our way, because at the end of the day, it's football that wins. And we've seen for the last 4 to 8 years the state of Kenyan football. I mean, Harambee Stars have not played a home match for 3 good years. Even the friendly matches, all of them have been away from home. And yet, there have been no restrictions about having friendly matches in a FIFA-approved stadium. So it's been in other countries where something like that happens. Other serious footballing countries, or other serious countries who take their sports very seriously, those are signs, those are grounds for resignation. And our current president, I mean, since he resigned, I don't know who reinstated him and on what premise. So as it stands, it's still Doris Petra who is the president of Kenyan football, as far as I know.
As far as you know. Kuria, let me come to you. And a big day for the Kenyan football, a big day for the Kenyan football stakeholders, and also footballers in the country, because they are looking who will be the next president for the next 4 years. So you kwako wewe as also a football fanatic and a football pundit. What does it mean to you?
I mean, it's a big day. Kama vile Innocent amesema, it's a big day for Kenyan football. And again, I echo what he said. It's either they be on the right side or totally mess our football. I remember some time back we were in that, we were together with you kwa ile presidential debate.
Yeah.
You could not, some of them could not tell us tangible things that they did not have a clear roadmap of where they want to take the Kenyan football. So we need someone, the president there, to at least bring good shape in FKF, bring credibility. We've had a lot of issues involving corruption, governance issues. Those top guys meddling with branch football. So I think it's a very big day, and I really hope that they elect someone who will at least push us to the next level. We've seen Harambee Stars having dismal results, not playing home matches. We do not have proper stadiums. We need a president who can push even the government to give us these facilities. We need a president who can come and uplift grassroots football. At least kukwe structures, kukwe structures ambazo we can clearly tell that this is how our football is being governed. This is how the money that FIFA and CAF give us, this is how it is managed. So good governance, credibility, and grassroots football for me.
And the funny thing is, every candidate was talking about the credibility and good governance. But you look at some of the candidates who are also eyeing the top seat. You look at the likes of Doris Petra. She has been there as the vice president. You look at Barry Otieno, who a few days ago he quitted as the Football Kenya Federation CEO. Hussein Mohamed is also eyeing for that seat, and also Samo Chola, Totoshi Manyula. Though a lot has happened since for the last 24 years, 24 hours. Sami Wino Kempes has been silent since yesterday. I haven't heard of him. I was even communicating with Alan, and Alan was telling me, I haven't seen Sami Wino Kempes. I don't know where he is. Tom Alila, one of the I don't know why you're laughing at. I don't know. I mentioned Tom Alila,
who's actually is an acquaintance of mine. He's someone who's always there during the elections. He's never had any good agenda for Kenyan football. He's been a NEC member for Nyanza. And when you even look at last 8 years. Look at the big teams which were in Nyanza. All of them have gone to the ground. Look at Chemelil Sugar. Look at Sony Sugar. Look at Western Steamer. There's agrochemicals. Those are big clubs.
Ulster.
Yes, Kisumu Posta. Those are big clubs who put Nyanza football on the map. They're the ones who used to at least nurture the talent that's coming from the western part of Kenya. But where are those teams right now? I think the people from Nyanza, the delegates from Nyanza, are the ones who are supposed to be the most aggrieved of all the delegates, because during Nick Mwendo's time, during Nick Mwendo and Doris Petra's time, tenure, the last 8 years, those teams have gone down. They are the ones who are supposed to be the most aggrieved because the teams could not even sustain themselves. Because when you look at our Premier League, what value does our Premier League have? Is the top flight football in Kenya. Does it have any value? I mean, a couple of seasons ago, the president stood up and said there is no prize money for the winners of the football FKF Premier League. I mean, that's a whole president saying that. So that means doom for the team if they bring back Doris Petra and Nick Mwendwa for another 4 to 8 years. It's doom for football. And I think I'll just put my hat down for talking about Kenyan football if that happens.
You need to relax.
No, I'm angry. I'm angry.
I know.
I want the delegates to also be angry. Look at Eastern, NEC Eastern. The person who was won there, and it's confirmed by 40 votes, it's Charles Njagi. Charles Njagi comes from Embu. And this is the backyard of Nick Mwendwa. Yeah. And already they are angry with the football. And that's why the delegates right now have decided to put Charles Njagi, who's an opponent of Nick Mwendwa, on the to be the winner of the NEC Eastern. So the guys have to be angry enough to remove everyone who's associated with Nick Mwendwa, and so that our football goes to the next level, just like my colleague here has just aptly put it.
I listened to Doris Petra during her campaign, and she was saying, you know, I'm the best candidate because if you can look at what we have done with Kenyan football, having some structures when it comes to women football, taking credit for the national under 17 football team that went to play in the World Cup, taking also credit for what is happening for the under 20 men's team.
I mean, first and
for you,
foremost,
a quick one. Should we elect some of the guys who we have seen them in the federation? Totally
no. I go with what Innocent is saying. There are some people there that I can openly contradict with their, with their candidature. One of them is Doris Petra. She has been there. She has been the deputy there. So what are these structures she's talking about?
She's been the number 2.
She's been the number 2. And you could even tell, and right now, I don't fear saying this because even when they were, presenting their nomination papers, you could see it's not Doris Petra running for the chair. It was Nick Mwendwa. He was just there as a number 2 behind the scenes, but we clearly know that it was Nick Mwendwa running the show. Another person that I really wouldn't want them to come back to, FKF is Barry Otieno, unfortunately. He has been the CEO. How would you...
For the past 5 years.
For the past 5 years. How can you be the CEO of FKF? Every year FIFA gives us almost $1.6 million, and money is lost. We do not see clear credibility there. You are the CEO there. You do not give us, papers or the budget, how you budget this money. So how comes right now we give you this big seat? So I mean, there are some people, unfortunately, again, someone like Sam, I don't think he has managed to run Gor the way it's supposed to run. We remember at some time back, Gor was supposed to play Continental.
He once played. He was once.
I did play Gor Mahia, and it's surprising that most of the problems that were affecting us back then, they're still affecting us right now. I mean, a team of Gor Mahia status is one of the biggest teams in Eastern Central Africa, and they have a name in Africa. There's a time we went to Tunisia, and from the airport, we could see people carrying placards for Gor Mahia. So Gor Mahia is a big team.
Yeah.
And right now,
60 years.
their state is not that good. After 60 years, I mean, this is a team, this is a club which should have their own clubhouse. It's a club which should have their own training ground.
Stadium as well.
It's a club which should have their own private stadium. And it's really surprising that the current federation, there are people who resigned, which I think was a smokescreen. People like Barry Otieno, who has been there, who has been part of the road for the last 5 years. He's been there. Doris Petra has been there for 8 years. And I'm surprised, both of them, they were saying that we need change in Kenyan football. What change? They were there.
Exactly.
Why didn't they implement their agenda while they were holding those seats? Because those are two very powerful seats. When you are the number 2 of a country, when you are the CEO of an institution, then you have the power to say, this is not going well. We should do this. When you look at the Center of Excellence, that was a ghost project. It was a white elephant, the one which was launched in Machakos 2 years ago. Nothing happened. I mean, that was a huge project that we thought that the legends who have played the game, who have played for Harambee Stars, who have played for the Kenyan Premier League, who have won titles, will be called to grace that momentous event, because the governor for Machakos was there, Honorable Ovinya Ndeti. So it was a very huge event, 600 million backed money, but there's nothing that has ever happened. There was a Sector of Excellence which the federation started, which was a very brilliant idea for under 13, for under 15, junior preparatory in Tome. But where are those players right now? Has there been a follow-up? Is there a database? Where are those players? It's eight years now. Those are the players we were supposed to see at the national team, Harambee Stars right now, but they are nowhere to be seen. So the current federation, the candidature of Barry Otieno for Doris Petra, Tom Alila, Chris Amimo, all of them have been part of the road. They should all go. They are all together. They want to divide. They want to divide votes. I think the only genuine, the only genuine candidates I can say, this is my opinion, and I'm saying this without any fear of contradiction. It is Hussein Mohammed and McDonald Mariga, Kempes, and Doris. I think those are the only genuine candidates for these elections. The other ones, they've just been played.
You meant Doris or?
I'm saying Doris Petra. She is a candidate. I think these elections are about all those three candidates.
Yeah, but
the other ones, they are just proxies.
You have a different opinion.
I have a different opinion when it comes to Doris. Doris and also Kempes to some point. Because of Doris, clearly, like I mentioned, Doris is a puppet.
She is a puppet.
She is a puppet. That is true. And you could even tell when presenting the nomination papers, she was not the one. You could see it's Nick Mwendwa running the show.
He couldn't even talk.
Yes, in fact, Doris did not even talk when she was presenting the papers. It was Nick talking. So you could tell who's behind her candidature. Number two, about Kempes. My only issue about Kempes is he has been away for a very long time, and he has struggled explaining this point over and over during the debates, and over again he has struggled explaining this point. For example, he says in Texas he has a football academy.
In Texas?
Yes, in Texas.
Here in Kenya?
So here in Kenya, what value, besides being a Gor Mahia player and a former Harambee Stars player, what else? What value has he provided to the Kenyan football until this point? So he has struggled over and over explaining this point. Unfortunately, my only candidature that I'm seeing that is someone who can at least try and bring Kenyan football to where we want it to be, or at least elevate it to some level, is, again, I'll go with Innocent, is Hussein. We could see earlier before walikuwa wanataka kumtoa kwa running.
Yes, they knew he's a very strong candidate against the current...
so as much as he has been there before, but on my opinion, I think he's the better devil, unfortunately. not an angel, but the better devil.
Innocent, the good thing about life, it will always give you a second chance. And now this is, I think, for me, I think it's a second chance for that Football Kenya Federation has been given for them to make the right decision. I'm not saying what they made last time is the wrong decision. Your opinion matters, my opinion matters, and even your opinion matters. But now, I think now this is the time that they should make the right decision. If they make that wrong decision now, they should never cry, because they have the right to choose the right. They know who's the right candidate, but some of them might go on the other side.
You know, all has not been dark and gloom for the federation, for the current president or the current candidature of Nick Mwendwa and Doris Petra. It has not been all blue and gloom. They started very well, and it was a necessary change. I was a delegate 8 years ago as the president of the Footballers Union. I'm not there right now. The current chairman is James Ituma, who is at the grounds right now. And I think the federation started very well when Mudhomi was Robert Mudhomi was the CEO, and I think there was it was a stagnant car. It was a change which was necessary from the dark days of Sam Nyamweya, the former president. So we needed a cleanup, and that's why we came up with the team change, and we did a cleanup from everyone who was part of the rot during Nyamweya's time, and who wanted to bring some change. And we saw some change. When the previous federation for Sam Nyamweya, the offices were at Nyayo Stadium at the pool table. There was a small office up there, and the boardroom, which was non-functional until CAF members or the FIFA members who used to come to Kenya so that they take the meetings there. But what the current federation did, Nick Mwendwa took the secretariat to Kandanda House, of which it was the main purpose for the goal project, to have something centralized for all footballing, everything about football to be under one roof. And he did well, and he found a stagnant car. We were supposed to reach gear 6. He reached gear 2, and that is where his capacity ended. That is where mwisho wa mawazo ilifika, if I can say so. And right now, everyone has seen. It's clear to see that football is not going in the right direction. First of all, the governance at the federation. They've always thrived on disorder and chaos, threats, intimidation, and you could see the delegates have been, they were too scared to even come and talk to someone from Hussein's camp. Like me, innocent, I'm a football pundit. And when I go for a delegate, I want to know about maybe their team. But he's telling me I cannot talk to someone from Hussein Mohammed's camp. You see, threats and intimidation, that is what we want to be a thing of the past. We want Hussein Mohammed, if he wins this evening, to take football to the next level. We are tired of what has been happening. We want our football back.
There's some updates from Kasarani into Arena, and FC Leopard chairman, that is Dan Shikanda, has been elected as the FKF Nairobi NEC representative after gaining 25 points, followed closely by Isaac Masharia. Isaac Masharia 22 points, Michael Ouma with 20, James Masese with 16, and Simon Mungo with 2, Thanos Obango moja, and Magara 1 vote. So it's official, Dan Shikanda will be the NEC representative?
Yes, Dan Shikanda was in Toto Shimanyula's camp. Obango, unfortunately, he was Atanas Obango, former footballer also, is also a former, was in our camp, Hussein's camp. But one thing that I'd like to credit the delegates is that we've seen footballers, former footballers, coming up and winning the National Executive Committee members. You have Kaskas, Peter Kamau, who's been elected the Lower Rift NEC member. You have Dan Shikanda, the Nairobi NEC member. So we want to reclaim our football. Former footballers have been so quiet, because most of them have taken coaching positions and managing teams, so they cannot go against the federation. They've been, they were not bold enough, but right now we've seen them coming up and wanting to reclaim our football back. And
another thing to mention about former footballers, you see, these are the guys that know where the shoe hurts. So they've been there, they've seen when they go without pay, they've been there, they've seen the welfare of the players. So I mean, when former footballers come on board and reclaim these positions, I think it's a very good thing, because they've been there and experienced all these hard issues. Only one thing, and whoever will be elected, I hope they will try and change the constitution a little bit, because I'm looking at the delegates. 90 delegates, to my own opinion, is is a very small number to decide Kenyan football. My opinion would be let us make the pool bigger and try and change how the FKF constitution to involve more people, and it should not be only quote unquote those people who are interested in football. We can even get other people out there, if you have sponsors, for example, if you have,
right.
because those are the guys who can clearly sit down and reason with you without getting money.
But when a club representative, when a club chairman votes, I think it represents the whole thing.
Yes, it does. And I'll tell you one trick the current federation was doing during the county football elections. Now, when a club has, let's say, 3 officials, and one of them is in, let's say, Hussein's camp, they will change the name of the voter, and they will talk with maybe the second in command or the third in command, the other third delegate, and they will talk with that person, and they will change the name, because you have been given some little amount of money, and then you just change your decision. You're not in tandem with the whole of your team, and that is why I am supporting the club licensing, because all the teams will be professionalized. We want a fully fledged secretariat for all the clubs in Kenya, and I think that is where our football will go to the next level.
And tukinaendelea from the on ground. Understand, we should take a break, short break, alafu turudi because the kidogo pia tunahitaji kunywa maji. Sitaki niambie bana. Let's take a short break. Remember, this is TV 47 Sports Extravaganza.